So started the broadcast. Was up, but I know Stella won't be here. I'm just recapping for Jeff. Basically going to go through the quiz questions in the book that I have for troubleshooting and see how that goes. And then I sent out a worksheet in the email. If you don't see it in the chat, I can send it again in the chat. Google Drive location of it. And then if we have time, then we can go through the worksheet. But I figured I was making it for myself, so I figured I'd share it with the group, and you can fill it in. Sean, he said he's still on for this weekend, but he hasn't given me details yet. So he might pop in later, I'm not sure. So this weekend, Adam volunteered to do like a troubleshooting and kind of go over some more of the technical things. So we had some hands-on, and he was going to set up a lab virtually to be able to show us and talk about it. This is going to be online, according to him. Just trying to figure out how to share these quiz questions the easiest. Is not showing up with the one program. Let's see. There, that works. All right, so we can go over question number 1. I'm not going to read it out loud. You guys can read it and then let me know what you think the answer is. I think that's Carlton munching.
You hear me? I'm sorry.
He just comment. All right, let me get to the page where the question is. So you think the, wow, really, it's popcorn? It does sound like chips. All right, Jeff, what do you think the answer is? Do you agree with A? Yeah, I think that makes the most sense out of all those. Although sometimes I find myself asking D depending on what the situation and the environment is. How long did you work here? How do you not know the answer to this? But yeah, it's correct. It says establishing any recent changes to a system can often lead you in the right direction to isolate and troubleshoot a problem. And it's kind of funny because I actually had something recently happen in my department, and that actually helped. I'm actually kind of summing it up because it was kind of neat what all happened, and I'm going to post it to the group. So look for that later. So question number 2. Okay, we got C from Carlton. Does everybody agree with that? Yep, correct answer is C. Because obviously it's not B, that's going to take the longest, and that's not going to be helpful. Same thing with D. A would be sometimes ideal depending on the customer, kind of like the other question. But yeah, so C is the correct answer. It basically says in the book, none of the other options are acceptable choices. Let me switch to the next questions. Okay, both of you said B, that's correct. And if you're following along, it's, I should have said this before, it's in the exam cram, page 480, 479, 480. So it just says B is the correct answer. However, A and C are valid, but only after the application has been tested. All right, number 4, you said C, Jeff. And you say B, Carlton. So the correct answer is actually C. It says not enough information is provided for you. It says, in this case, the next troubleshooting step will be to talk to the user and gather more info about what exactly the problem is. And all other answers are valid troubleshooting steps, but only after the information gathering has been completed. And then question number 5. Say C for an answer. Jeff, you still with us? Just giving you a chance to answer if you want to. I guess if you guys go AFK, just let me know in the chat. I should have put some Jeopardy music on. Right, so you both answered C. That is correct. It's just says after you've fixed a problem, tested it, and let users back on, you should create a detailed documentation that describes the problem and the solution. Let's see. Answer A is incorrect because you must document both the problem and the solution. And obviously, you do not need to restart the server. So B is incorrect, and D would only be performed only after the system's documentation has been created. All right, so now the next set of questions are going to be on page 504. Let me get back the screen share. Let me know if that's too small. Yeah, I don't have a timer for this one. So Carlton, you think it's, let's see, answer C? Or do you think it's a different one? Okay, you both say A. That's correct. It goes into detail about how the range doesn't match the subnet, and so therefore it can't connect. I already saw these questions, kind of like when I do the other quizzes, so I want to let you guys discuss it. I'll be the facilitator of questioning. All right, I gotta switch to the next one. Actually, I skipped two. Here's. Yeah, I found a 10-hour loop of Jeopardy on YouTube. All right. Okay, Carlton says A or B, and then B. What say you, Jeff? So I like where your trail of thought is going. So for the recording, Jeff is saying, yeah, that's not going to work. The device is the same IP as the router. So based on that, what answer would we be picking? Is that your final answer, Jeff? A. So it's actually B. You were on the right track with the router. Because it's saying in here that the error probably occurred when the IP address information was input. In this configuration, the client system would likely be able to access the local network and resources, but not remote networks because the gateway address to remote networks is wrong. I'll give you 3 and 4. So Jeff is saying 3, his answer is C. And Carlton says C as well. And that is correct. And Jeff says for 4, A and B. And Carlton, you say the same thing. Yep, A and B. Says the default gateway, DNS server, and Win server are all optional, but network functionality is limited without A and B. Okay, yep, 5 and 6. Okay, Carlton says 5B. And so is Jeff. And that is correct, crosstalk. Kind of threw a tricky one in there by saying near crosstalk. They're just saying the remedy in this case would be to run the cables further apart and use quality shielded cables. So basically for number 6, you can either say which of the 3 answers are correct, or you could say which one is the incorrect one, whichever is easiest. Carlson says A, B, and D is correct answer. Still with us, Jeff? Oh, I see it now. They're starting to all line up. Yep, A, B, and D is correct answer. C is incorrect because cables or bound media is unaffected by atmospheric conditions. Yeah, what about solar flares though? All right. And the next set of questions are on page 535. So Jeff is saying 1C is the answer. And Carlton's saying A. The correct answer is C. It says administrators can quickly determine the status of common ports by issuing the netstat-a command from the command line. This command output lists the ports used by the system and whether they are open and listening. Number 2. It was C. All right, so Carlton, I see you said A. It says choose 2. All right, so you both say A and D. So this one is actually A and B. D, that doesn't exist. And the trace route doesn't, it says you cannot perform manual lookup with that one. Yep, so it's dig and NS lookup. That's a little tricky. Hey, this is coming straight out of the book. Yep, it's A and B is the correct answer. All right, we got 3 and 4. Okay, you both say 3A, and that is correct. What about number 4? This one is definitely harder. I didn't know this one either. So I got 4A and 4B for guesses. Is that your final answer? Okay, number 4 is actually C. So that little trick about tests, when in doubt, choose C, would work on this one. Says none of the other answers are valid ARP switches. Oh, see your way out. I like that. I hadn't heard that one. Number 5. Carlton says D. What do you think, Jeff? All right, you agree it's D, and that is the correct answer. It just says the other commands listed produce different output. So I guess I'm guessing the book has examples if you need them, or you can Google. All right, so move into the next section, which is on page 547. These ones will be fun. This is on page 547. So we're in the networking tools, troubleshooting tools. The last section was page 535, working with command line utilities. So just says 1A and 2B. What say you, Carlton? All right, so we got answer for number 1, we have A and we have C. This one is actually D. It says voltage event recorders are used to monitor the quality of power used on the network or by network hardware. Voltage event recorders identify potential power-related concerns such as power sags, spikes, surges, and other power variations. Number 2, you say B as well, and that is correct. It says environmental monitors are used in the server network environment equipment rooms to ensure that the temperature does not fluctuate too greatly. In the case of a failed air conditioner, the administrator is alerted to the drastic changes in temperature. Multimeters, TDRs, and OTDRs are used to work with copper-based media. Yep, gotta know your acronyms. IDC. I don't even know what that is myself. Let me see. Maybe I'll give you guys a hint. Well, that's cruel. They use an acronym and they don't even put it in the index or the glossary. Yeah, quick scan of this section. I can't find it. Come back to that. All right, so 3D for Jeff. Carlton, did you answer 3? I don't think I see it. Oh, wait, your question mark. Okay. Yeah, I can't find IDC. Let me scan. Oh, found it. IDC stands for Insulation Displacement Conductor. I found that on page 539 in the note, middle of the page. IDC is Insulation Displacement Connector. For $1 million, I would not have known what that acronym was. But the answer to that was D. You use a punch-down tool when working with an IDC. All other tools are associated with making and troubleshooting cables. They are not associated with IDCs. And then number 4, let's see, you both said A. And that is correct. The toner probe tool along with the tone locator can be used to trace cables. Crimpers and punch-down tools are not used to locate cable, and then the pin utility would be of no help in this situation. And this question is related to the thing I was talking about earlier that was kind of neat at work. Have any of you guys scheduled your test yet? I should be able to schedule my next week. I paid for my voucher through my school, so I just gotta wait for the email. I think Stella said she's taking hers on Thursday. Well, through the school, so like Stella and I, we went to ECPI. We get 5 vouchers to take certs. So if we're still taking classes, it's like $15. And if you're alumni, like you graduated, or then it's $20. Well, I was going to ECPI. I'm trying to transfer to USC. Well, it's cool if you guys haven't scheduled it yet. You can, obviously we'll have a lot of things to study with, and you can go back and look at different sections and whatnot. Jeff, I'll answer your question not on this. All right, let me get the next question. Number 5. Carlton says C for his answer. And Jeff says 5C as well. And that is correct. Just basically says none of the other tools are listed in the construction of UTP cable. I'll actually bring up because we're almost done with the questions. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed a pattern with the type A and type B cables, and I want to see if you guys see the same thing and see if it's helpful. And then we can go over the worksheet too if you guys want. Alright, so this section starts just a couple pages after that. So do page 553, managing common security threats. Alright, you both say B for number 1. Gesundheit.
Dang, sorry about
Oh yeah, 1B. Yep, that's correct. It says ICMP will report if a destination is unreachable. Routers and other network devices report path information between hosts with ICMP. And then number 2C. That is correct. ARP-resolved MAC addresses are stored temporarily on a computer system in the ARP cache. And the last one that I have in the book, number 3. All right, so one answer from Carlton, 3B. I just want to know, King of Death. That has to be a real thing. If it's not, it's got to be something someday. I've never heard of it. But yeah, it says, B, it is recommended that you run a vulnerability scanner against your own system to look for problems, as well as to identify any improper access or backdoor access probabilities that you may be vulnerable to.
What'd you say you never heard of?
Ping of Death,
Oh,
is that a real thing?
yeah, that's old school.
It just seems so fake.
When you ping a device, you're basically sending out a packet and trying to get a packet back from the device, right? So if you get a packet
Yeah.
back, you know you can ping it, you know that it's out there. But
Yeah.
back in the days, you could change the size of the packet, so you could essentially send the computer these really large packets, and the computer couldn't hang. And so it's constantly, your device is constantly pinging the other device for these large packets, and the computer just
Okay,
can't
I
hang,
think
and it
I have
just
seen it. This, yeah, I'm
it'll
looking
just
at
freeze.
the.
Yeah, we used to do that to people back in the day at my job.
Yeah, just found it here. Oh, go away, ad.
Booyah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I have heard of it. I just didn't know that's what it's called.
Oh yeah. Yeah, DOS attack.
Yeah, back then I was not into computers at the level that I am now. So
True.
cool. Well, there's so much information out there. Let me show you what I was talking about with the cable. You guys have any issues memorizing like how the colors go?
Oh, the colors for the cable for the RJ45.
Yeah. I just saw it in a little.
Uh,
All right.
I'll remember it for a little while and then I'll forget it.
Yeah, like if you make a bunch of cables, like it's easy to remember. But I noticed a pattern. Let me find. Let me plunk these side by side. Give me a second. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. See if I got the type A. Okay, this actually works. Let me make this bigger. Okay, delay. All right. So I never noticed it before, but I was noticing it when I was trying to study. Look at pins 4 and 5. So you could basically just remember that blue is always going to be in the middle.
Yep.
And then if you look at this side, can you guys see my cursor?
Yeah.
So then if you look at this side where green is at, it's the same for pins 3 being white green and then pin 6. So then basically all we need to remember on, hold on, I'm not comparing it right, hold on. Let's B, I need to compare it to A, hold on, getting ahead of myself. I'll have, bear with me. There we go. I believe this one has both of them side by side. All right, so what I was saying, that the blue is the same in the middle. And then, oh yeah, so that's what it was. So if you look on both, it's just the orange and the green are flipped. So just remembering what A starts with for pins 1 and 2, and then B is just the opposite, and then the brown is 7 and 8. See what I'm saying? So we have blue is 4 and 5 for both, and then 1 and 2, if we just remember that A starts out white, green, and green, then we know B is orange, white, and orange, and then the blue is just surrounded by the other color. And then knowing the other side, obviously that's a little bit trickier, but I felt like it was easy to remember that pattern for that left side. I don't know if that helps you guys at all. I'm very, like, if there's colors, I remember things easier, so if I find patterns, it's easier for me to remember configuration. So I hope I never go colorblind. So the other thing we had was the worksheet. We can either work through that and find the answers together, or we can do it on our own. So it's up to you guys. I was just kind of putting it together, and of course, you know, feel free to add to it. Like if you find some other things where, you know, you want to memorize some other stats or whatnot, to where you can like fill in the blank. I was trying to create an OSI, like do it in PowerPoint, so then you could like click like the different layers if you wanted to try to guess it, but when you click it would move the tile, but I'm still working on that. So I don't have that on the worksheet. So let me pull up that worksheet myself. All right, so the troubleshooting steps, I just basically stole that from Professor Messer, the diagram, but I left it fill in the blank. So if you watched his videos or watch it later, you'll be able to fill that in. It also is in, I know, at least the exam cram. and most likely in other ones. So he walks through each of the steps of the troubleshooting. It was a pretty good video. I was able to watch some of it. I haven't gotten through all the videos from his section yet. But then I just added some other things that I knew I wanted to be able to. Oh yeah, so he talked about Occam's razor. So I put a link there if you want to know more about that, because I certainly have not heard of it. I didn't double check to see if it actually talked about it in the book, but it's actually kind of an enlightening approach to troubleshooting, I guess. So that's why he mentions it. And then, of course, we got the Ethernet standards. Now, if you're in the, what is it called? The group. Oh, I don't know why I forgot it. The Slack channel. Ralph actually puts out question of the day for Network Plus. If you're not on it, I don't know if I can add you guys. Let me double check. But I know Josh can if you have his email. But he was talking about his question of the day was actually talking about 10 base 5, and I didn't see that in my book. I did not see in the exam cram unless I missed it. So if there's anything missing in any of these, you guys feel free to go ahead and fill them in. But I basically pulled all these from the exam cram book, but I mean they're all relevant to the Network Plus studying. And then there's probably more that I'll add as I see them, as I'm going through the book again to review everything. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to work through some of these, or do you want to work on your own and call this hangout to an end? All right, so you got to run, Jeff. That's cool. Oh, yeah, you can print out the document. It's also a Word document. So for the most part, you'll be able to fill in the blank if you want to do that, except for that first diagram. Well, I'm good with calling it quits, because everything's in the exam cram, minus that first diagram, like I said, because I'm actually kind of starving, and I have my kids now, so I have them for summer, so that I can spend time with them. But if there's any questions, obviously I'm available via email. If you can't find it, I can share which page. I just didn't have a chance to update that. And then when Adam shares information for the meetup this weekend, I'll be sure to share that if he doesn't already, which I'm assuming he'll share in the group. So just stay tuned for that. All right, no problem, guys. Hopefully it helps you, because I know it helps me doing all these extra things. It just helps me remember it. All right. Yeah, he'll put something out. I emailed him this morning or yesterday to kind of remind him, because I know he said he was going to put it out on the group, but I hadn't seen it yet. So I just pinged him, and my computer wants to restart. But yeah, just remind me about that, Jeff. That question. I'm not going to put it on a broadcast thing. So, but I have no problem answering that. So, all right, later, guys.